Hey everybody, it's Justice for Comics. Good morning. It's Saturday morning. I got this email late last night from CovrPrice. This is their top 20 list of books that are on the move. So CovrPrice is a website for comic collectors that they have an algorithm that tracks eBay auctions. I think even some other public auctions like Heritage, things like that, that actually track prices on books, and they basically monitor books in the last week that are jumping up in percentage, typically more than 100%. That's usually what makes this list. So there'll be some of these books that are also on like CBSI's Hot 10 list. Usually there's a lot more variety here, so I tend to like the CovrPrice top 20 list a little bit better than the Hot 10 list. Sometimes there's books on the Hot 10 list that I don't know why they're hot. No one is really even buying them. So I think there's more editorial control going on there at CBSI than CovrPrice. CovrPrice is just basically an algorithm that tracks price movement. So let's jump into it here with the top 20 list from CovrPrice. Starting out with number 20, Doc Savage, number 3. This is from Marvel 1973. It says, yeah, they were a little perplexed when Doc Savage number 1 made the list, and this is even more of a head scratcher. 14 copies have sold, so that's obviously the reason it made the list. Up 147%, a raw high sale of $10. So not an expensive book. Pretty cheap considering it's an older book. Probably tough to find in really high grade, though, I would imagine. Any book from the early 70s is really tough to find, and obviously the older you go back, the more difficult it is. But in the 70s, I don't know, basically people didn't even try to preserve comic books too much until maybe late 70s, early 80s. So early 70s, yeah, a lot of comic books were abused, no doubt about it. Cool cover though, not too bad. So that is number 20 on the list. So there's conversations around Sony developing a Doc Savage film amidst all the Spider-Man conversations, and that could be the reason why the book's moving up. Number 19 on the list, House of X number 2. Obviously a recent Marvel title that's doing well. That's the regular A cover. I believe I don't have that one. I think I just have the Huddle. I've been collecting all the Huddleston variants. So I believe I have the Huddleston variant on that one, which in my opinion is a way better cover than the regular A cover. But looks like it's hitting at a raw high sale of $26, up 108% in the last week. So pretty good movement. It's being considered a key because it reveals Moria. I pronounced her name wrong. It's Saturday morning and early, and I've only had 1 cup of coffee, so that's a good reason to claim Moira McTaggart, right? Is that her name? That she's becoming a mutant and adding to the mystique of her character. So that's the reason that book's on the move. Number 18, Powers of X number 2. Connecting cover, up 99% in the last 7 days, hit a raw high sale of $16. Yeah, I think I have that one. Cool cover. And I picked that up for CovrPrice. My LCS, I think, ordered pretty heavily on House of X and Powers of X, so I'm able, you're still able to go back some of these shops and pick up older issues that are selling for bigger money on eBay, but yeah, I can still get. I think a couple weeks ago I was still able to get this cover for CovrPrice. So sometimes it depends on your LCS. Number 17, Moon Knight number 1 from Marvel 1980. A 9.8 just sold for $306. That's a pretty good price. That was probably a $150, $180 book in CGC 9.8 not too long ago. So it's easily doubled in the last couple months. There's rumors of development of a Moon Knight. I don't know if it's going to be a movie or a TV series. You know, you've got to have an actor that can kind of play multiple personalities. So, you know, could be interesting. That's if you can't afford the first appearance, that's a good one to pick up. Number 16, Micronauts #1 from 1979. This was a toy line that was developed into a comic book, and I've had several subscribers tell me that it's a really good comic book. Really had nothing to do with the toys, and that this is going to be developed into a live-action movie. So issue #1 has definitely been on the move, up 106% in the last week, and I think the week before it was on the move as well. So for the last 2 weeks, this book has probably jumped quite a bit in value. So a 9.8 just sold for $217. This was probably a book that you could have picked up a 9.8 for under $100 a month or two ago. Probably no one was really kind of paying attention to it. So yeah, I mean, 79, it's an older book. High grade, it's definitely something that's kind of cool. Number 15, Spider-Verse #1. This is the Patrick Brown variant. $30. It's an okay cover. I don't know. Just nothing I would, you know, I think at the time that was a 1 in 25 variant maybe. So it's a little bit above ratio, right? Ratio would be about $20. It's selling for about 30. I don't know. I probably wouldn't chase that. Number 14, Gideon Falls #1, the Virgin variant. I do have that in my collection. I've got the regular cover and and I do have the Virgin variant. Basically, when these came out, you know, it wasn't more expensive. It was A, B, and C cover, so they were all going for cover price. You know, I picked up definitely the B cover is my favorite by Jock. That one is the better art for sure, but you know, it doesn't sell as well as the Virgin. The Virgin variant does also seem to sell pretty well when there's a listing, especially in auction. People tend to bid on it. So that's being developed into a TV show. I think that could be really good. You know, especially if they keep it dark like the comic book. Yeah, but the 9.8 just sold for $150, up 204% in the last 7 days. So that book is definitely on the move. So that would be a book. I have that book, and it's probably high grade. So if I wanted to sell it, yeah, that would be worth getting graded for $20 for sure. I paid cover price for it, so my cost is pretty low on that. Number 13, House of X #4. 7-day trend up 104%. Raw high sale of $13. Yeah, it's a cool cover. I like the cover. The reds. I'm a sucker for a red and black cover. I don't know. Just, I think visually you're drawn to the image better, you know, versus a white or yellow or some kind of muted color. So I love that cover. It's pretty nice. Number 12 on the list, House of X #3. This is another connecting cover, up 100% in the last 7 days. Raw high sale of $10. Yeah, it's a nice cover. I think that's a Diodato cover, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty cool. Or it might be Silva, I'm not too sure. Number 11, Ghost Rider #1 from 2019. So this is a recent comic. This is the Adams variant, the Neil Adams variant. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Not too bad. I don't believe I picked that one up. I think I just grabbed the one. I think I grabbed the black cover, the full black cover. But that one's going for $27. I don't know if that was a ratio variant or not. I'm not too sure. I'll have to look into that. Number 10, House of X #5. This is the Scott Campbell New York Comic Con variant. I think it's of Storm, yeah. Pretty cool. Not a big J. Scott Campbell fan. I do like his Spawn cover that he did. I think I highlighted that in my last video. The yeah, that Spawn Virgin variant that he did. I do like that cover. Did a good job on that one. But this one's okay. The Storm one's not bad. But, you know, I definitely would not pay more than cover price for a J. Scott Campbell. I'm just not into the artist that much to do that. All right, let's zoom in here again. Number 9 on the list, Eternals number 2, the 25-cent cover variant. Raws are going for about $255. Yeah, I think about 6 months ago I was looking for this on eBay, and I probably were looking at pretty high grade copies that were raw around $110, $120. Probably should have grabbed one, but I'm not, really not into the Eternals, so I thought about it maybe just as a speculation, but I'm not. I'm getting more and more away from just thinking, hey, I'm going to buy this book so I can flip it. I'd rather buy a book because it's a one I really want to keep in my collection. I think you're always better off doing that. The Eternals, I don't know, I'm not, I've said it many times. I'm not going to ever say anything bad about Jack Kirby. He was a great creator. He definitely, for the time that he drew and created comic books, he was the king, no doubt about it. I think he's still the king. But I don't really care. I mean, I've read a lot of his books, and most of them are terrible. The writing is bad. The artwork is not, obviously, the standards today are just so elevated in a lot of ways. So I'm not a big fan of the Eternals, but the movie's going to continue to push that book up. Number 8, X Factor number 15 from 1987. This is a book I have in my collection. I collected a lot of the X Factor books when I was a kid. I think these came, 87. I would have been coming out of middle school, going into high school. So I remember getting a mail order subscription from Marvel. Most of you are probably not old enough to remember this, but Marvel used to send books to people. You'd write in and send them a check for the year, and they would send you a comic book every month in a brown paper bag. And hopefully your mailman was nice with your mail, because if he was rough with it, the book, I'm sure, would be damaged pretty easily. It definitely was not sent in a protective, just even back in the mid 80s, like, just comic books weren't collected like they are today. It was just, kids were, you could buy them at 7-Elevens and Circle K's, and no one was really worried about condition. There was no such thing as gradings, comic book grading services back then. So just a different era. But yeah, I definitely remember this book. Classic cover. I have it in my collection. Got several X Factor key books in my collection. That's definitely one of them. And it's nice to see that book moving up. 9.8 just sold for $120. Not too bad. I don't know if mine's in high enough grade to get graded, but again, I would only do that if I was going to sell my copy. Number 7, Moon Knight number 14, the newsstand variant from 1981. First appearance of Stained Glass Scarlet. I guess maybe she's rumored to be in maybe an upcoming Moon Knight movie or TV show. I'm not too sure, but kind of a cool cover. I like that cover. I believe that's Sienkiewicz cover. So yeah, that entire Moon Knight run from the early 80s there's some really good books in there to collect. So you may want to look for that. I don't know. You may find that sitting in a back issue bin somewhere. Go to a big comic book shop that has a lot of back issues. That might be in there somewhere. And maybe they haven't upgraded the price on it. So looks like raws are going for around $45 on that book. Doctor Strange number 381, the Del Mundo variant. I believe I have this book. I don't know why it's saying Del Mundo variant. It's not a variant. That's the regular A cover. To my knowledge, there wasn't two covers to 381. So at least I don't think so. I could be wrong about that, guys. But that book is on the move. First appearance of Bats the dog. I think he dies in another issue, but Looks like it's going for around $20. I have a copy of that, so I'm glad to have that. Number 5 on the list, Moon Knight number 14. Yeah, we just talked about that. That's the direct edition. 9.8 going for $1,100. That's crazy. Phew. I mean, if you got a 410%, if you guys don't think we're in a comic book bubble, I don't know what to tell you. We definitely are. So just be very careful what you buy out there. Lately I've been buying books with the concept and idea in my head that this book is never going to be higher than what I'm paying for it. I'm completely okay with that. But man, just a lot of people right now, I think, are speculating and driving up crazy prices. I mean, this book shouldn't be going for $1,100. I mean, I get it. It's a 1980 issue. It's an older book, but it's a minor character. It's a first appearance of a minor character. So what if she's going to be in a movie, or there's leaked information that she's going to be a character in the Moon Knight series? Who cares? It's not worth $1,100. I just think that's insane. Number 4, Spectacular Spider-Man number 1 from 1976. I don't know. Everything Spider-Man here has been moving based on Sony Marvel kind of patching up that relationship. Sony's still going to get royalty rights on Spider-Man, but I think they're going to allow Marvel to take over creative control. That book's up 225%. Raws are going for $150. Kind of a classic book, cool cover. I don't believe I have that in my collection, but it's definitely a nice one. That could be one that you could find also flea markets, back issue bins. There's a lot of people that may have that. I've been to comic book shops where they had multiple copies of that book. Number 3 on the list, DMZ number 1. Story about the American Civil War, set in the not too distant future. Looks like there's going to be a development in an HBO special on this, or an HBO series. So this book is on the move. I don't really know about that book. I'm somewhat familiar with Brian Wood. I think I've read a couple things he's done, but this is from 2005. So this was a CovrPrice book a few weeks ago. Now it looks like it's hitting $27 in raw condition, and CGC 9.8 just sold for $200. So yeah, hey, if you got that in your collection, pull it out, put it on eBay. That's a good way to flip a book that maybe you don't care that much about it. Number 2, Absolute Carnage, Immortal Hulk number 1. This is the Codex variant by Dale Keown. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, it's kind of a nice cover. I'm not a big fan of Dale Keown's artwork. He's okay. I don't know. It just reminds me too much of Pitt back in the day. I bought all those Pitt books thinking they'd go up in value. I don't think any of them did. They were terrible. So Dale Keown's one of those guys that for the longest time, he would draw a few things, make a bunch of money, and then I think he would smoke pot for 6 months until he needed to work again for some money. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Dale Keown, but yeah, congratulations if you picked this book up. I think I remember seeing it on Midtown for about $30, and it looks like it's going for $150. Yeah, I guess I should have bought that, huh? Oh well. Number 1, Spawn 300 New York Comic Con Gold Foil Edition. So if you went to the convention, you could have picked this up for $50, and now selling for $500. It's a good way to make some money, right? Of course, it costs you money to get into those conventions. There's a lot of costs in picking up these books, travel. Unless if you live in New York, it makes it a lot easier. That's for sure. Just grab the nearest subway train and get down to the convention center and pay your, what does it cost now to get into the New York Comic Con? I imagine it's got to be at least $40, $50. I don't know. I have no idea. So let's say it costs you $50 to get in and cost you another $50 for the book. Your cost is $100. You could still sell it for $500. And it's pretty good. That's a good flip. Not too bad. So there's your list. that is your top 20 list from CovrPrice.com. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Share and like my videos if you can. That helps me grow my channel. I'm up to 608 subscribers now, so definitely doing well. I was just cracked 500 like a month ago, so it's funny how when you start to build your channel, the higher up your numbers get, the faster it tends to build. So yeah, I'm trying to produce a lot of content. I'd like to get to a point where maybe I could do a video per day. I noticed that can help quite a bit. It's just not always feasible to do that. But if you guys wouldn't mind commenting on the video, let me know what you think. What do you think of this top 20 list? Maybe there should be something else on the list that wasn't mentioned. Let me know that in the comments. Look for another video from me, probably Monday or Tuesday. I'll probably do one going over recent comic book news, stuff that's in the news. There's usually always something going on, so I'll do another video highlighting that. So look for that in the next few days. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.